Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's like, welcome to the Signature Finisher Podcast. I'm your host, D.S. Wall. And I'm so excited to be here, ladies and gentlemen, because on this show, me and Jamie got a lot to talk about SmackDown. Just wrestling journey makes me happy. Wrestling journey make both of us happy. So we got a lot to talk about there. Um, but we're gonna talk about the Gangrel interview, which was another good interview by Chris Van Fleet. And but before we get to that interview, you already know who's in the house out there, sunny side on the other side of the country, Spain. Out there in Spain, on the other side of the world. Look at those trees in the background. Jamie's working his way to Japan. He almost there.
Working
I
on
don't
it
know how he, I don't
slowly.
know how he convinced the wife on that one. But I got a
It's still a
feeling
work
I
in
got a
process.
phone call or two that's gonna be heading my way.
Just cover for me. Just cover for me.
Have you seen Jamie? Yeah. You know what? Jamie just came down. He just left, went to Arkansas, came down to visit. Where he's going after that? He's heading to Texas. Why is he taking random road trips? He wants to see the world.
Because I can.
So let's get the show started on the Chris Van Fleet interview with Gangrel, former WWE superstar. Is he in the Hall of Fame?
Gangrel? No.
Okay. I mean, I would have thought they inducted the Brew into the Hall of Fame, but I guess you got to be
You
you got to
you
be
would think
retired.
so. But they want nothing to do with Gangrel.
Yeah. So, what was some of the highlights of yesterday's interview?
Well, I think the interview was a couple days ago, but it was just in general good interview because he doesn't ever say anything bad about WWE. He just talks about like the experiences. Obviously, he was with Luna Vachon forever. Talked about when Edge wanted to bring him back for his WrestleMania entrance in
Yes, yeah.
WWE.
WrestleMania 39.
Yeah, WWE basically kiboshed it by trying to hit him with a, well, do you have the copyright and do you have a letter from White Wolf saying that you can use the name Gangrel? And he's like, I've got it trademarked. Like I own the rights to it. I can use it because White Wolf, for people that don't know, is a tabletop role playing game, and Gangrel is a race of vampires or whatever that they use. Well, Gangrel has the name trademark for wrestling use, so he can use it all he wants. But they were trying to use that when Edge was trying to get him to do the intro for WrestleMania. They told Edge, "Oh, well, we just don't think people are going to remember him." But backstage, they were asking him for a letter from White Wolf saying it was okay for him to use the name, this and that, and basically throwing all the legal stuff in front of it. For anybody that's our age to say you don't remember Gangrel is laughable. The Brood has, even today, I would put the Brood's theme song against Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Roman. The Brood's theme song is easily top three best intros of all time. And again,
Yeah, yeah,
Jim
I agree
Johnston,
with
who
that.
everybody's been talking about for the last week, Jim Johnson made it. Guy kind of knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Maybe people should listen to him.
I'm just surprised that they did that to Edge of all people. I mean, Edge is one of their favorite superstars. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a legend. And the simple fact that you don't allow him to bring back one of his best friends just for his entrance at WrestleMania. Did we forget that WrestleMania, biggest stage of all, you always had this big, huge, grand entrance that's really sweet. I mean, just think about it if Gangrel would have came out with Edge. I mean, 2/3 of the Brood, and not only that, it would actually fit. It would fit for that day and what Edge was trying to do.
Well,
I mean,
100% would have
he
fit. And
really
that's why
set
he
up the
still did it.
right. It what was it? It was the vampire versus the demon,
Mm-hmm.
and you couldn't bring
And he
out
still did
one
it.
of the. Hmm?
but it would have been a lot cooler to have Gangrel. I mean, obviously you would have gotten Christian at that point because of where he was, but just having Gangrel at ringside to do the entrance and having him at ringside would have been amazing. And WWE, just like anything that's an original idea that wasn't thought of by one of their PBS writers gets killed.
Well, not only that, but I think at that time Vince was still running things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of shocking that
he was running creative. I don't think he was getting caught up in the minutia of intros and things like that. That very much sounds like a Bruce Pritchard thing.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, though, I mean, Vince McMahon was running things. So, I mean, like, his power and influence would mean something, especially, to one of the few guys who made him money. Lots of money. So it's just shocking that they either they didn't get his input from him or he just went along with it. I mean, that's just shocking. And plus, that's kind of like a slap in the face. Like you said, like nobody gonna remember you. I think everybody around our age or older will remember the Brood. And in fact, I kind of think that's a slap in the face that they give their fan base a lot of credit. Cause it's not like they can't go on YouTube and search real quick. Oh, Edge, Gangrel, Brood. Oh, look at that entrance. Sweet.
So WWE, they do it quietly, but it's very noticeable if you're looking for it. They don't want you to remember more than 5 years ago at any given time. They want to keep you current in the product. That's why their intro now, the then, now, forever. It's just another way for Triple H to put his voice to something so that people don't forget about him. Because I honestly think that guy has the biggest fear of just being forgotten in wrestling history. Because if it wasn't for Stephanie McMahon, he'd have just been another average wrestler. Stephanie McMahon basically saved his entire career. Because what was he before Stephanie? Yeah, you had the Shawn Michaels connection, so you got a little bit of boost there. Once Shawn was going to be out of the business, Triple H would have been a nobody. He was a decent worker, nothing special. He only got special because he got special treatment after he got with Stephanie. But the Brood had something. They did the corporate ministry thing. They broke him off from there, had that feud with the ministry, established Edge and Christian, took it into the Hardys and Dudleys thing, and then it kind of broke up from there. But that Brood thing, if they would have actually gave them some momentum and gave them like a real push, they could have done something good with the Brood.
Oh, absolutely. It would probably would have done a lot for Gangrel because we already seen how Vince McMahon, how he loved Edge and the plans he had for him.
Well, even as much as Vince McMahon loves characters, Gangrel played a character that wasn't so over the top that you could be like, okay, I can get into this guy. Because he didn't do anything overly obnoxious. He did the little blood spray thing, which was fine. But other than that, like, he was just a good gimmick, solid, didn't push it too hard to make it cheesy or anything. You could have done a lot with him. And they just chose not to. And I think a lot of it has to do with his age, because he's a lot older than people think he is. And even back then, he was in his probably early to mid 40s at that point, where Edge was like 30, Christian was like 30. So, I mean, Batista, same thing. Batista had to lie about his age. And then he got in trouble. That's when he got stuck with the Deacon Batista thing when they found out how old he actually was. Deacon Batista.
But that was a bad day for him. They found out, like, oh, dude, you that old?
But no, gang.
You thought you was in your 20s. You're actually not.
Gangrel was a character that they definitely could have done a lot more with. But again, they got fixated on a couple guys, and that's all they focused on. Yeah, but there's no reason Gangrel couldn't have been like a solid long-term IC champ.
Yeah, but Gangrel was a character that Vince McMahon created, was it?
No. He had Gangrel long before that.
Oh, okay. I thought Gangrel.
He looked different, like the look and everything of Gangrel was different in other companies, but he freshened it up and everything. Like he actually talks that Brood theme song. Jim Johnson came up with that in one day. Like they put the intro together and everything all in one day before I forgot which pay-per-view it was. But he's like, I didn't have any thoughts on it. He's like, in my head, I thought it was going to be something like Possum Kingdom by the Toadies and maybe slowed down or something. He goes, I come in, he goes, they hit me with that, and it just everything fit immediately. Because Jim Johnson, the one thing that people don't give him credit for, I've talked about it many times, you've talked about it. You can tell who they're going to push by how much effort goes into their theme song nowadays. Back then, it wasn't like that. Every character had a crafted theme song. And in pro wrestling, within the first note to 2 notes, you need to know who's coming out. Austin had the glass. You didn't have to be like, wait a minute, who's coming out? You knew. The second the glass shattered. Kurt Angle had those loud trumpets right at the beginning. Like Undertaker had the chime, the dong chimes. Like you knew there was an aura to the character. There was the music that fit the character. And if it didn't fit, they changed it. Mm-hmm. Even when they would do like the heavy metal remix albums and stuff, they would use those temporarily, maybe for a PLE, maybe for like a program against another wrestler or something. Then they would go back to their original theme. Jim Johnson would craft something that fit the character. Now it's like they're just throwing whatever rap song that they can out there. Like, hey, Stevie Stone. And by the way, I love Stevie Stone. I've seen Stevie Stone in concert at least a dozen times. He does the raps on like half their theme songs, and they're terrible. The only one that is somewhat feasible is AJ Styles.
Yeah, that was. Look, not every wrestler entrance has to be a rap song. That's the part that bothers me. Like, a lot of them doesn't fit their character. You know what I'm saying? Like, just you know the term. If it ain't fixed, if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Well, it's like Finn Bálor. When Finn got out of the Judgment Day, he said the best part about them removing me from the Judgment Day is I didn't have to come out to that shitty song anymore.
Right.
But
I mean, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Jim Johnson gave you guys the blueprint. Just follow it. Now, if you want to like remix, like for example, like I hate the Street Profits theme song.
It's so bad. But remember, they're being repackaged. They spent all that time repackaging them to come out the exact same way. The repackage was Angelo Dawkins is losing about 20 pounds. Give him a couple months.
Yeah, and after those couple months, he lost even more weight. It's like to the point where Montez Ford is bigger than D'Angelo Hawkins. Nah,
tag team wrestling is dead on Raw, so there's no point in even talking about it anymore.
I mean, shit, I just think wrestling in general in WWE just dead. But no,
when your tag team champion is bitching about his creative role, tag team wrestling's dead on Raw. But no, the Gangrel interview was solid. And it's just little good insights. If you're a wrestling nerd or you just like listening to Chris Van Vliet conducts a really good interview to begin with. And he always gets good people on there that can talk for the most part. And Gangrel, he's been around a long time and he could talk about, the dude still wrestles now on the indies. So he could talk about a lot of stuff. And obviously he was with Luna Vachon. That's a character in and of itself that you could talk about for days. Right. Like she was crazy. So,
right. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, the difference between, and I hate comparing different times of wrestling from now to the time when we were watching the Brood, when we was watching The Rock, Stone Cold, and all those guys, is that those characters back then, I don't want to go too far back. Let's go back to the Attitude Era. Those characters were very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we technically want to get nerdy with this, let's go back when Bret Hart was a singles wrestler, and then they started to build the company around Bret Hart, and then we seen the evolution of Shawn Michaels. That's when everything started to get interesting. When, like you said, numerous of times on the show, when WCW was hot and they were killing Vince McMahon. And they was about to go bankrupt, and he had to make some changes, not only to the roster, but to the way they done business. And once he started to let the guys be more creative, that's when it started taking off. Why? Because they started to get more interested. They started getting in tune to their character, who they are. I mean, back then, how many times have we seen wrestlers always stay in character compared to now?
Mm-hmm.
I think MJF and Roman Reigns are the only two who stay in character. or if they not, they stay into who they are. Everybody else is they don't stay in character.
MJF is known as being an incredibly nice person if you can catch him not in character. That's the whole thing. You just got to catch him not in character.
Yeah.
Which basically isn't going to happen if it's anything in public.
Yeah. And Roman Reigns is awesome. And he's awesome when he's not in character. I mean, I seen the interview. It was the interview he did with Stephanie McMahon. It was him, Solo, Jacob, the Usos. This is before Jacob got big, and they were just talking about their family. They was on Roman's boat. They was just relaxed. They was having a good time. Yeah. Roman's a down to earth guy. Love him, but again, you don't see that all because of one, he's in character. You got to catch him, just like MJF. So
yeah. That and the characters back then were just more entertaining. They're so corporate now that, like, I think Steve Austin would be a bomb if he was the Steve Austin that he was then. If Steve Austin was in his prime now, trying to be that Steve Austin, I think it would bomb miserably. Yeah. Because they're so corporate and they try and control every little aspect of everything. I think they would destroy the Steve Austin character. Like, that's how little faith I have in WWE. All those gimmicks and things that worked in the Attitude Era, I think would be utterly destroyed by Triple H and his leadership team now.
Yeah. Who was it now? Liv Morgan down in the beginning. I don't know now, but I remember in the beginning, even in the middle, when they stayed in character outside the ring, it was great. It was awesome. I think we hear Liv do her interviews, it'd be like, where's Dom? Where's Daddy Dom? Where's Daddy? She stay in character. Same with Dom. He stay in character.
If you want to do a whole 15-minute segment about her dress at the ESPYs, I'm all for doing that as well. Just putting that out there. I can go a full 15 minutes. Easy.
I did. Oh, wait,
have you not seen it?
Now I'm interested. I got to see this.
My God, man. Get with the times.
Hey, man, I was at work. I ain't had time to see that.
I don't care. You were texting me. That's time you could have been looking at it.
Hold on, wait a minute. Damn, I popped up real quick.
It's probably like the most searched thing on the internet right now.
Oh, my.
She was killing it at the ESPYs. I could say that. Kiana James looked really good, too. I'm trying to think of who else I saw. Kiana James.
Yeah, she looked really nice.
Yeah, if we need a 15-minute gap, I can fill that in with
I mean, if you want to spend 15 minutes and you want to talk about Liv Morgan's outfit, the way she looked in the ESPYs, we can. I mean, she looked really nice.
Yeah, she looked very professional.
Yeah, she did. All those sickos, man, I'm telling you, man, they probably took that photo and blew up, made a poster. It's probably hanging.
I'm sure they probably did.
Yeah, it's probably hanging on some kid's wall up at the top of the ceiling. Or some grown sick ass man.
Okay. What's your next topic? What do you want me to complain about next?
I mean, we can go all day. I mean, we can spend the next 4 or 5 hours complaining.
I know. That's what I don't want to do.
Yeah, I know.
We got to make it somewhat fun for people.
Yeah, I know. Since this is summer and this is SummerSlam, what's some of your favorite SummerSlam matches?
Oh, boy. My favorite SummerSlam, probably because I was so little and because he's my favorite, the Match Made in Heaven, Match Made in Hell SummerSlam, that was what, 88, 89? That's my favorite SummerSlam of all. Macho Man, like, just making him the entire center of the entire pay-per-view was great. SummerSlam, I don't enjoy SummerSlam as much as a lot of other people do. I'm a big Royal Rumble guy. That's my big one that I've always liked.
Really?
Yeah. Royal Rumble's always been my thing. Oh, it was 91. Why was I thinking it was 89? Yeah, they did the whole wedding thing and yada yada yada. Then John Cena and Nikki Bella tried to copy it and went over poorly.
So that was so bad. That was so bad. So WWE on their website, their top 25 SummerSlam matches of all time. So we're gonna go through all 25. Coming in at number 25. Back in 2015, John Cena versus Seth Rollins, champion versus champion, winner take all. Number 24, Mankind versus Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Triple H, Triple Threat match, WWE Championship, 1999.
I mean, that was a good match.
I'm trying to remember that match. Did Austin win that match?
No, Mick Foley did. That's when they were really trying to push Foley as like credible champion, blah 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 blah. Because that was the whole thing. Like when Bischoff was making fun of, oh, don't worry about it, Mick Foley's going to win, and that's going to be their champion. It kind of blew up in his face. They were trying to legitimize Mick Foley as like a real main eventer and things like that. So they had him win.
Okay, yeah. All right, now I remember, because this is the match where they had Jesse Ventura as a special guest referee. Okay, yeah, and before they won. Now coming in number 23.
I remember watching this match because it was like the only time you'd see women's wrestling in the 90s, besides like the later in the 90s when they started the bra and panty stuff. But Bull Nakano was great.
I'm just shocked that this was as low as it is.
Well, I mean, Alundra Blaze only wrestled like a handful of matches in WWE for the most part, and they were always against Bull Nakano. So it's not like they had a lot to work with.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm surprised it's as low as it is. And Bull Nakano, the only thing I can say is I'm disappointed in. Number one, hell of a wrestler. She doesn't get a lot of credit she deserves. She's a trailblazer. But the simple fact that they waited this long to put her in the Hall of Fame, to me, it's mind-boggling. Coming in at 22, John Cena versus Batista, 2008. I've never known for John Cena and Batista put on good matches. Down to OVW, yes. On the main roster.
The part you have to remember is this is the list curated by WWE, so they're going to make matches that weren't very good seem a lot bigger than what they were. The John Cena-Batista feud wasn't all that good to begin with.
Nah. And we talking about two guys who really weren't that good wrestlers.
Cena was a much better wrestler than Batista was, but again, when you're marked as the key guy, they want to limit your chance for injury. That's why they give you the 5 moves of doom.
And that's what I'm talking about.
And look at Cena. Cena was never really injured in his, extensively injured. He didn't.
No, he wasn't at all. I don't remember being injured at all during his run.
He had a couple minor things that would take him off for like a few weeks at a time. Most of his stuff was just vacation time and just taking time off.
Yeah. And again, this match, it should be a lot higher than
this. If you would have asked me my favorite match, this would probably be my favorite SummerSlam match.
Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Owen Hart and Cargill Championship match.
This should be way, way higher on the list. But I guarantee, if I go look at the top 10, I'm willing to bet they're all matches from like the last 5 years. But yeah, Steve Austin versus Owen Hart was great.
I'm sorry, man. I just kind of feel that match should be at least in the top 10. Number 20, Ravishing Rick Rude versus the Ultimate Warrior Championship match, 1989. This was another good match. It was a good match in the sense of it was so damn short.
Well, and the only Rick Rude, this is the beef I have with Rick Rude. I love Rick Rude, but it's because of Rick Rude that people thought that Ultimate Warrior could be a heavyweight champion. They thought that there was a future in the Ultimate Warrior because Rick Rude made him look so damn good. He was a terrible wrestler. The Ultimate Warrior was absolutely atrocious in the ring.
Well, remember, Ultimate Warrior was the first Brock Lesnar right now.
He was without the talent.
Yeah. What I mean, like, when I'm talking about, like, especially right now with Brock Lesnar, he doesn't go 5 minutes. He doesn't go 8 minutes. He doesn't go.
No,
10
it's
minutes.
too much for him to remember.
Yeah, but Ultimate Warrior was the very first, if I remember correctly, because he'll come in. You said 5 moves of doom. Ultimate Warrior had 2 moves.
Just explain to me how a guy the size of the Ultimate Warrior, who weight-wise is not a very large man, muscle-wise, yes, very large. How do you use a splash for a finisher?
And it's
not even like an off-the-ropes splash, just I'm going to bounce off the ropes and splash on you, and that's my finisher, when you're that big.
And when he does it, it doesn't look effective.
Like the Gorilla Press Slam, in that image alone, would have at least been presented as a better finisher than him doing a splash.
But you would think a guy like, okay, well, Ultimate Warrior is a powerful guy, so you would think that a guy his size and the power that he possessed, you would think his finish move would be a power move to go along with the Gorilla Press Slam.
Yeah.
But we don't get that. Triple H versus Brock Lesnar in 2012. I always thought that was kind of cheesy. Ain't no way in hell that you can tell me that Triple H can beat Brock Lesnar. Coming at 18, The Undertaker versus Mankind Boiler Room Brawl. That was a hell of a match.
That was a good one. That was a good start for bringing Mankind in, because the problem was back then is the Undertaker didn't have any like competition. And that was the whole thing. Just like the way they brought Kane in, Mankind was only brought in to feud with the Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
They just happened to make it work, and he stuck around because the Mankind character was great. He'd come out to the opera music, and as soon as the match would end, the opera music would kick back on to calm him back down and stuff. Like, it was good. It was presented really well.
I love the Mankind character, but I stopped liking it once they started getting away from him, making more and more the Mr. Sacco, and that, I mean, then it went from Mr. Sacco to, hey, this is just Mick Foley, and then with Mick Foley, hey, do love, and I get it. He did that in the independent scene, and I understand that, but it just started making him
well, the whole Sacco thing and all that stuff is because the Dude Love gimmick didn't take off in WWE. Even though they kept trying to push it, it just never worked. And that's why all the stupidity landed on the Mankind character with like Mr. Sacco and stuff like that, which hurt the Mankind character overall. It would have been better if he would have just stayed Mick Foley doing that stuff, but
yeah,
what do I know?
It's just stupid. Coming at 17, the Hart Foundation versus Demolition, 2 out of 3 falls, World Tag Team Championship match. And for those who don't know, the Demolition won that match, if y'all care. Coming in at 16, the Undertaker.
That was a weaker Demolition, though, because that was Demolition with Crush and not Smash.
I'm sorry. The Hart Foundation won that match. Coming in at 16, The Undertaker versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, 1998 for the championship. You know what? And I want to say this. The Undertaker is probably the only character that was ever created in wrestling where I felt that he was bigger than the title.
He was. That's why he was only champion a handful of times.
Yeah, he didn't need the title at all. There are certain wrestlers, certain characters who don't need the title because they're bigger than the title. And to me, if you're bigger than the title, then that's the ultimate prize you can get. You don't need the title as much. Like, for example, look, say his name again, Brock Lesnar, he don't need the title. Roman Reigns don't need a title. Undertaker, to me, was the very first one who started that because he, like you said, big. He's a character that don't need a title much. He's bigger than the title, and he's box office.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need it. Guys like Steve Austin, guys like The Rock, they need the title because the title enhanced their career and it enhanced their popularity with the fans. The Undertaker don't need it. He never needed it. This was
I hated this next one. Yeah, this next one was terrible.
Versus Triple H versus Chris Jericho versus Kevin Nash versus Randy Orton versus Shawn Michaels World Heavyweight Championship Elimination Chamber match.
This is sort of where the stupidity of Triple H's 10 years of dominance kind of started, was right around this time where he was always booked to win. And even when it didn't make sense for him to win, he would win.
And you guys who care, Goldberg won that match.
No, I'm pretty sure the game won that match.
No, yeah, he did. I'm sorry, y'all.
I was gonna say, I'm
sorry.
I remember watching this match.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My apologies. It was just a bad match. It was for any wrestling fan think that you can put this type of match together and think, Shawn Michaels gonna save it. I feel for you. I mean, you got Goldberg, who had 2 moves. Kevin Nash at that time can barely move.
Yeah.
Randy Orton, they didn't give him a true opportunity. Chris Jericho, love Chris Jericho, big fan of Chris Jericho, but they was not going to let Chris Jericho win that match.
Mm-hmm.
To me, this was just it. Without having all these guys on here, you could easily say, "Oh, this match should have been Goldberg versus Triple H," but because of the lack of wrestling from Goldberg, they had to add everybody on here to just make this match a main event match, which is stupid.
The next match was highly frustrating.
John Cena versus Daniel Bryan, 2013. I didn't like
this match will go down as just being a way to get the title on Orton without Orton having to beat John Cena.
Yeah. Coming in at 13, Bret Hart versus The Undertaker, WWE Championship match, 1997.
Great match.
Great match. And I think, did Hitman go over on this match?
Yeah.
See, it just goes back to what we said. The Undertaker don't need a title, but I also think the Undertaker should be losing. I mean, not like that. I mean, it's Bret Hart, cool, but still. I just kind of feel that, the last time he won the championship, he should be winning a lot more matches. What do you think of this match? Number 12, Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero. Ladder match.
I mean, the match was good. Anytime Rey and Eddie wrestled, this is back when Rey could still move around before all the knee surgeries and things like that. So anytime you put them in a match, it was great. Was it one of their best matches? No.
This match sucked. So I don't know why this isn't even in number 11.
It didn't suck. It just compared to what if you were to list just Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio matches and put them in
no. That match was great. I'm on.
I was like,
no.
Yeah,
that match
no, yeah. The next one, I thought you were gonna elaborate on that one because you're like, what you think?
No. The Rock versus Brock Lesnar, the undisputed WWE champion.
Yeah, that was not a good one.
I mean, it was over in 5 minutes. Wow. Yeah. And that's how much time I want to talk about it. Number 10, Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, Intercontinental Championship match, ladder match, 1995.
I'm surprised this one's at 10 because this is probably the most popular SummerSlam match of all time. Yes. So I don't know how it's at number 10.
Yes, and this is their first ladder match, if I remember correctly.
This is the first ladder match in WWF.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Shawn Michaels won, but Razor Ramon made it look good.
Razor Ramon made a name for himself just based on this match. And the simple fact
it was a very good match for people that haven't watched it before. Go watch it. I mean, is it the same as watching the Dudleys versus the Hardys versus Edge and Christian? No, but for the first time the match was ever done, and 2 people that actually know how to wrestle, and there being such a size difference between the 2, it was a great match.
Yeah. 2 guys who were ring generals. So, I mean, any one of those guys, could lead that match. But it was just a great match. Coming in at number 9, John Cena versus CM Punk, undisputed WWE Championship match. I think the reason why they put this match here where it was is because I think this is the one.
This is Punk won, but Alberto Del Rio
Yeah,
cashed in his
cash
Money in
in
the Bank.
on. And I mean, look, I think that's around that time where Punk and Vince McMahon was starting their little backstage heat on each other. What do you think about this one? Number 8, Edge versus The Undertaker, Hell in a Cell.
It was a solid match. I mean, this is right when Edge was really probably at the peak of his popularity. Well, maybe 2008 would be. Well, no, maybe not, because he retired in 11. Well, yeah. So this would probably be right around the start of him starting to really take off.
Mm-hmm. Coming at number 7, The Rock versus Triple H Intercontinental Championship ladder match. Here's my thing. Because now I know how these two guys really felt about each other professionally and personally. I think I feel cheated because we didn't get the true Rock versus Triple H match. If they would just let their hatred for each other just come out during these matches, I might have a different opinion about their matches.
I don't know, because this is back when they were still fighting for the IC title. I don't know if it was quite at that level yet, is what it would have been when they were going back and forth with the heavyweight titles. They clearly didn't like each other already, but I don't think it was quite to that level yet, because this was still early on when China was still with Triple H. So this was like really early on.
Yeah, wait a minute. So I'm trying to think, because I mean, according to the timeline, what D'Lo Brown was saying, so it all had to start around this time where the professional jealousism between Triple H had for The Rock. It had to happen around this time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was starting, but it wasn't at like full bore, because this is when The Rock started getting his main event push while Triple H was still messing around with the IC title. This is why The Rock lost the IC titles, because he was making that next leap and Triple H was still sitting there.
But this was 1998, so this is around the time where Triple H was still with DX, and still with Shawn Michaels, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This was early on. Like, you could see China in the background of that picture. So, like, this is still when DX had China and all that stuff together. And as you can see, that's China before all the facial surgery. So that tells you how early on it was.
James don't like China facial.
I love China. I have no issue with China. I'm just using it as a reference point. You know how quick she started getting all the facial surgery as she got popular. You can look at her and see that's well before she got all the facial surgery. And since the chair is in the way, you can't tell if that's when she got her implants in or not. So that would be the clear indicator of how early on this was.
See, that's what I thought. I thought, she became popular when she started. Let everybody know she got boobs.
Yeah, that's when she got the implants, is when she started to take off on her own. And that's when she started getting all the facial surgeries. Like, you could see how wide her jaw is. That's before all the facial surgery.
Triple H. The simple fact that he was with China in relationship, it just tells you everything you need to know. Now, this match I thought should have been higher. I thought this match should be in the top 3. Bret Hart versus Owen Hart, Steel Cage.
I mean, we all know how I feel about Bret Hart and Owen Hart, so this is definitely high on my list.
Coming in at number 5, and we talked about this match.
Mm-hmm.
Edge and Christian versus the Dudley Boys versus the Hardy Boys, World Tag Team Championship, tables, ladders, and chairs.
I would say this is probably the second most popular match in SummerSlam.
Can we say, because what these guys did and how popular tag team wrestling was back in the day, and they just kind of ruined it for the future?
Yeah, and the fact that this wasn't even a main event. Now, did everybody know how good the match was going to be? No. Was it towards the end of the card? Yes. But that match right there is better than almost any WrestleMania that they've had, main event WrestleMania that they've had in the last 15 years.
Yeah. And let me elaborate what I mean by that is that you had 3 tag teams here who were not only over and very popular, but you had 3 tag teams here who really fucking good. And we talking about 3 tag teams who had chemistry out the door. You don't see that no more. You don't see teams like the Dudley Boys, the Edge and Christians, the Hardy Boys. You don't see the Hart Foundation. You don't see the British Bulldog. You don't see tag teams who have chemistry together anymore. If you're around the same age as me and Jamie, older, then you understand what I'm saying is that tag team wrestling has been a huge staple. Huge staple. It was never about the moments. It was always about the matches and the stories. Tag team wrestling today sucks.
Yeah.
Hell, I mean, in all due respect, I know me and Jamie love watching AEW and their style, but let's keep it honest. In professional wrestling, there is no more tag team wrestling. It's kind of like football, where they eliminated the fullback position. They came back with this H-back position. You know, tag team wrestling has been, it's kind of like running back shouldn't be paid a lot of money. We want to try to fade position out just a little bit.
You just had to bring up running back position with all this Jameer Gibbs stuff going on, because I'm turning into a big Jameer Gibbs hater. So let's move on from running backs.
Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow. But what I'm saying is that back then we got spoiled with great tag team wrestling matches. I mean, a lot of the great tag team wrestling matches was better than the single matches. Now you can't get a good tag team match.
Yeah, it's everybody wants to be the star. And take the Dudley Boys. Devon had a few different pushes throughout his career where he was a solo guy. It was fine. It wasn't bad. But was he ever a main eventer? No. Bubba Ray turned into Bully Ray. He had a few good feuds, but I would even say that him doing the Bully Ray thing was nowhere near to the level of them being the Dudley Boys together. TNA, I think Bubba Ray, Bully Ray, whatever, he benefited from the fact that TNA was desperate for a change, and that's why the Bully Ray character worked in TNA. But neither one of them had the success that they had when they were the Dudleys. The Hardy Boys, Jeff has had a lot of single success. Matt has had some decent single success again in TNA. But was it ever to the level that they were when they were the Hardy Boys? No. Yeah. The only one Christian could make a case and Edge could make a case. Edge, by far, out of the 6 of them, Edge has had the most success as a single star. Edge, naturally, I think, is a single star. Christian, I also think he's more of a single star, but they worked so well together because they were childhood friends. Like, they just had it's like if me and you became tag team wrestlers and we were actually wrestlers, not just like me and you showing up now, but like the way we've known each other, we'd probably make a pretty decent tag team if we were professional wrestlers. But those guys made it work, but I think they were more natural single stars. The Hart Foundation, do you think Jim Neidhart would have made a great main eventer? No.
But he knew who he was as a wrestler. That's why.
Exactly. And he did extremely well. The Hart Foundation is still one of the best tag teams of all time.
In his own little space, he did a hell of a job. And he complimented Bret Hart.
Mm-hmm. He was the power guy. He was the prototype for tag team wrestling. You typically had a power guy and a smaller, faster guy. Neidhart was the power. Hart was the technical, faster guy. Then you had an evolution where you had guys like the Hardys, where Matt was a little bit bigger than Jeff, but it wasn't like Matt was a power wrestler by any means. Devon and Bubba Ray. Bubba was a little fatter than Devon, but they were roughly the same size. Mm-hmm. Edge was a little bit taller than Christian, but they were basically the same size. You had a change where the teams were a little more balanced out, but the best tag team wrestling, there's still a lot of good tag teams out there now, but again, WWE doesn't prioritize tag team wrestling. So Motor City Machine Guns never got to show what they could do. Yeah. The other problem is you didn't get them at their peak. You got them on the downside of their careers. Those guys could be retiring any time now. They could say, hey, we're calling it a wrap. We've been doing this over 20 years. Mm-hmm. But if you would have got them 10 years ago, if you would have got them when they were first really popping off in TNA, no tag teams were doing what the Motor City Machine Guns were doing with the tag team with the quick tags, the double team moves, the things that they were doing, the way they were doing them. Now it's routine because everybody has copied what they do. You look at like Fraxiom with Frazier and Axiom, all they are is a younger version of the Motor City Machine Guns. And I think that's what hurt them is people are like, oh, this is what we're supposed to get hyped about. Well, yeah, all the tag teams that you see now have copied them.
Yeah, doing their movesets, doing it. I mean, everything Motor City Guns did then, teams are doing it now. But also, I can say this about the Hardy Boys. The Hardy Boys inspired new tag team wrestlers from around. I mean, I know you're not a big fan of the Young Bucks, but the Young Bucks were inspired by the Hardy
Young Bucks.
I hate them so much.
Yeah, if you hate them that much, you hate number 4, CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar, no disqualification, 2013.
I like this match just because CM Punk got just the beat down, and any guy that has mutton chops deserves to have a beat down. And this is when he was rocking the mutton chops, so it was well warranted.
Yeah. And number 3, Shawn Michaels versus Triple H, unsanctioned street fight.
This was a really good match. The timing of it was off because this should have been a WrestleMania match. The street fight itself should have been a WrestleMania match, but the match was really good. I could see where they put it in the top 3. The story build up to it makes it better than the match itself actually was. I mean, the match was really good, but the story behind it was better because this is back when he came back after the back surgery of being like pseudo retired, this and that. So it made sense. And the story was just really good. The match was okay. The story was great.
Yeah. And the only time we really get a good Triple H match is if he wrestles Shawn Michaels.
Shows her the Undertaker.
Right. Coming in at number 2, Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect.
I remember this one because my dad hates wrestling, and it was like one of the few times that I could actually get him to watch it with me. So like we ordered the whole thing and watched it. I love Curt Hennig, and I love Bret Hart. Like those are 2 of the best. If you're talking technical wrestlers, they're both in the top 10. I would put Curt Hennig in the top 5. Some people wouldn't. But there was nothing that Kurt Angle couldn't do. Or I just did it again. Curt Hennig couldn't do it. And he was one of the best sellers of all time. If he wanted to make somebody look like a monster, he could do the overselling. It was like, people remember when Shawn Michaels oversold on Hulk to the point he was like bouncing out of the ring. That was just a standard thing for Mr. Perfect. When he wanted to put somebody really over, he would just go over the top with his selling to the point that it was hilarious.
Yeah. I love the Mr. Perfect vignette, the promos where catching guns, slapping it, shooting the basketball. But no, I think to me, Mr. Perfect is a very underrated wrestler. I actually kind of felt that Mr. Perfect should have been champion.
He was one of my favorite bad guys when I was a little kid. Like we're talking 91, so I was like 7, 8 years old here. And the Perfect Plex is still one of my favorite moves because to do that move and do it right, where you actually land into a bridge like he would, is extremely hard. Because I've seen a lot of people do it where they'll do the suplex and then they lift themselves up into a bridge. When he did it, he would land in the bridge and hold it, which makes that move 100 times harder to do than the way people do it nowadays.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I think the last one I seen it was his son. He did it, but I haven't seen it over the year. I haven't seen it since then.
I've seen it a couple times. It's more in AEW that I've seen it than anything. But people do like the regular suplex with the leg hooked and then lift themselves up into a bridge. He would land into a perfect bridge every time.
Yeah.
And the character Mr. Perfect, the vignettes that they used to do with him, like you've seen interviews with like Jim Ross and Bruce Pritchard and all those guys back then. When they would cut those vignettes when he would do all those athletic things, they talk about he would nail it on the first try every single time.
Mr. was a very underrated wrestler. I was not a me
Was it's a few weeks ago. Perfect. Hogan, that or sometime you're Ed, Cena. And he like what off
at one pressure. Hogan
like yeah, like if anybody wants
wrestling. skill is. And,
I think it's so. Look it up to see how many of those tickets. Well, I'm just out of town down there. Mega versus Will.
both shows gonna take
Then down with it, but I
somewhere nice.
meant that youth
For Rumble and Smart. Nobody's not. How you gonna put all the and wearing failure? You mania card. Or nobody's buying that. Put some.
willing to bet right now, Ross, and write a better card that would sell more tickets right now than what they have.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see CM Punk outside of Chicago. It's like CM Punk to me is Kid Rock. Nobody cares about Kid Rock outside of Michigan. And most of Michigan will honestly tell you they don't care. This is just the only place he can book shows anymore. CM Punk is the same thing. Outside of Chicago, nobody cares about you. Especially your whole drug-free lifestyle, this and that, yada, yada. But yet you're now bigger at 48 years old than you've ever been in your life. Please, come on.
But see, it's not just CM Punk. It's just
no, it's not just him. But this was your Hail Mary. We're gonna bring him back because it's in Chicago, and well, Sami Zayn's not gonna get the job done. So at least we've got CM Punk. Nobody cares. You've got Trick Williams. You've got all these other guys that people actually want to see, and yet it's it's CM Punk.
Yeah. No, it's just, again, nobody cares about Punk versus Cody Rhodes.
Nobody cares about Punk, and nobody cares about Cody at this point. That's the whole thing. They don't want to admit to it.
Well, not yet, because there is fatigue.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm a Punk fan. I was glad Punk was gone for 3 months. Because I don't want to see
he should be gone for another 6.
Freaking single time when I put on a wrestling show. I don't want to see a Punk. Just like, look, it goes back to the days where Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Roman Reigns was shoved down our throats every single time. I mean, I get it. They're the face of the company. They're the champions. I don't need to see them every time. Like, I don't need to see Cody Rhodes every time I put on SmackDown. I like Cody Rhodes. I think Cody Rhodes is one of the best storytellers in wrestling. I think CM Punk is one of the best storytellers in wrestling. I think that the reason why nobody's not into this match because not only got fatigue for both guys, but you just threw this match together. If you would have told a proper story and a build-up for this match, maybe people would be excited about it. You just can't have one guy come out of the ring. Well, I told you, right time, right place. Title match can happen. Name your time and place.
It's because it's desperation. Sami Zayn didn't get the reaction that they thought that he would, and they had to hard pivot. They were already going. You saw the reports of them having issues with Punk and trying to generate something for him that he was going to agree to from a creative direction. So, what do? Let's put the title on him. That'll make him happy. And what did they do? Well, at least with Punk, we might sell some tickets, and that shows you that Punk ain't drawing.
Well, that's their fault because we just seen Punk champion.
I know. I'm not saying
Punk champion. CM Punk is one of the only few wrestlers where, again, he doesn't need to have the title. I mean, if you're gonna put the title on, of course he's not gonna say no. But he's one of the few guys right now who doesn't need the title.
He doesn't need the title. That doesn't mean he doesn't want the title. That's
right.
The problem.
That is true. But also Punk is also the type of guy where if the story fits of him being champion, he would have no issue with it. If it's a story that's being told that, hey, Punk, you do not need to be champion, he will be okay with it.
But Punk is more of if you throw enough money at the problem of Punk, it'll go away for a while.
Right, but it also goes back to that they don't don't trust their young talent because why? Because they're not working with their young talent. They're not building up their young talent. The only young talent he's working with is Oba. And yes, we know Oba's going to go over on Brock. And that's another problem. I understand this might be Brock Lesnar's last time wrestling. I understand he might be retiring. But it goes back to, what did you say, Jamie? Don't do Brock versus Oba early. Because once you get to this point right here, it's not going to mean nothing. It's just going to be a wrestling match. It's just going to be a match where a guy who's back home from his family and friends, he's going to wrestle a good 10-minute match, and he's going to lose, and nobody's not going to care.
I think we're going to be lucky to get 10 minutes.
I'm just.
But the thing is, I could tell you everything you need to know about Oba Monday night after the pay-per-view. If they don't line him up immediately with a world title shot, it's done. And basically, if they don't line him up against Roman Reigns, which we all know they won't do, because Roman's still making money. Roman's still making them a lot of money and hasn't shown that he wants to retire yet. So they're not going to feed Oba to him to put Oba over. So what are you going to have Oba do after this? There's no other credible monsters for him to fight. You better, unless you're just waiting for Bronson Reed to come back, and that's going to be, Bronson Reed again, another 5'10" mini monster.
And he lost a lot of weight.
I know. So that, you can't build him up as the monster either. Because, I've seen those pictures too. He shaved his head, did the whole thing. He's going to be like Rusev. Once Rusev lost all that weight and you realize that he's a short dude,
can use him.
Cool. You can have him wrestle Chad Gable a whole bunch of times. Why do you think Chad Gable hasn't been champion yet? Not because he can't wrestle, not because he can't get himself over, because he's a midget.
I don't need to see Roman versus Oba in a match. What I need to see is Oba and Roman interacting with each other. Maybe planting the seeds for down the road, we might see that match.
But the problem is you have to keep Oba hot. You've already taken the peak of what he can do and cooled it off big time.
That's why I was a big favor of maybe you should put Oba, have him fight Jacob, or have Oba go, he's not part of the company. Oba versus Sheamus would have been nice. You get him
Sheamus would have been fine. Jacob would have been good because look what you've done with Jacob. You've turned him into a lapdog. You took what was supposed to be one of your next big stars and legit made him a lapdog. And he's basically back to what he came in as. This guy that makes random squawking noises and can't talk for himself anymore.
And you kill any type of momentum, any credibility that he has. Mm-hmm. And I don't know last time he actually been in the wrestling ring and wrestled. Oh, yeah, against Roman. He lost. Yeah. Like the WWE has a problem. We're going to get to Rhea Ripley because that's the thing we're going to get to. They have this issue of they make their guys that they want to push, and the guys who they tell us, hey, this is your future champion. This is the guy going to be the face of the company. This is the guy that's going to be in the main event scene. They have the tendencies of make them looking like losers.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Gunther.
So you probably heard that thing where they take stars and intentionally make them lose a bunch of matches to check their attitude. It's fine to do that in NXT or something like that, but when you're telling people this is like your guy and this is the future, do something with them. What did we hear about Carmelo Hayes? Oh, he's the future. He's unlimited in his talent. He could do this. He could do that. What have you done with him? Nothing. What did you hear about Roxanne Perez? Oh, she's a prodigy. She's probably the single greatest talent that the women's division has ever had. This and that. What have you done with her? Nothing. You're finally maybe starting to do something with her, and all you're doing is getting her out of her faction that she's in. Doesn't mean you're actually going to do anything with her. And if you do, how do we know that you don't Maxine Dupree her? You give her 30 days, and then, Sorry, the wind blew this way. Now we're gonna go pivot and do this. Sorry about you. Like WWE doesn't have a standard of we're gonna give you this amount of time to figure it out. And it's not even that they need to figure it out, it's that WWE needs to figure out how to do something with them.
The WWE lost their way of trying to create stars. All they know how to do now is make stars into non-stars.
I mean, I'm still on the thing of if you're a young wrestler, wait as long as possible to go to WWE, especially because some of these indie promotions are starting to pay real money. Like MLW is signing big contracts. Like I saw an interview with Killer Cross. Was it last Sunday? Whatever it was Sunday or Monday. Dude is like living on cloud nine right now. He's having interesting stories, wrestling good matches. He's obviously the champ. Still has his wife right there with him working, but he's on cloud nine. And he's making good money. And he's still doing indie shows on top of it. And he even said, why would I want to go back there? He's like, it's almost at the point that like ever going back to that company is completely removed from my mind. Because again, you're in a captive environment. You can't go work freely, even though you're listed as an independent contractor. You're not, because they don't allow you to go work anywhere else. You're having to do all their travel schedule, stick to all their corporate rules and everything else, when you could go to like a MLW, you could go to a Maple Leaf, you could be doing both of them. Build your brand up to the point that they're basically knocking down your door. Do you think if Will Ospreay's contract ended tomorrow, that WWE wouldn't be blowing him up to come over there? And then at that point, he has full control.
I didn't buy all that crap Triple H was saying.
Triple H is a con man. He's a glorified con man. That's all he is. He's one step short of being a grifter.
Yeah, over here, you got to work hard and put it in. No, over here, if it's not one of your guys, you would try to break them. But I know damn well if Will Ospreay contract went in or MJF contract was up, you'd be right at their door begging, take our money, please come over. Listen, intentionally, we're not gonna preview SmackDown like that because of the product. We support the product. We support the wrestlers. Like Jamie support Michin. He supports Julia.
Yes, I do.
He supports Io. He supports women wrestling.
People are gonna pick up. You keep talking about those three, they're gonna think I have a type.
He supports women wrestling.
My wife is a tall blonde. We'll put it there. My wife is a tall blonde.
Yeah. We're wrestling supporters, but we're not going to continue to preview bad shows because nobody wants to be negative about anything. Critical, yes. Negative, no. And when they're giving you the same stuff every week, Chat GPT can only do so much. Yeah, they see the fine print. Chat GPT can make mistakes. They got to lay off of it. So
I would rather do wrestling history, talking about certain events, talking about individual wrestlers and stuff, than previewing shows. And some of our shows, in my opinion, have been dull because I'm like, I don't care about WWE at this point because they're not giving me a reason to care about them. And it's not because of the talent. It's because they only want to focus on 4 people at any time. And sadly, it's been the same 4 people basically for the last 4 years. And I don't care about them. I don't care if Cody Rhodes becomes the #1 title winner of all time. I'll care because I'll complain about it because it's trash. Cody Rhodes is average at best. But Roman Reigns, same thing. It's a forced thing. I'd rather talk about like fun things from wrestling, people that actually enjoyed things. But talking about SmackDown is bad. Talking about Raw isn't much better.
So we're not going to do that. But this topic is about it's a wrestling problem. Mm-hmm. It's not a WWE problem. This is a wrestling problem. So the problem is Rhea Ripley has a torn meniscus, and she's going to be out for a while. So instead of have her vacate the women's championship, they decided we're gonna crown the interim championship right now. So when she comes back, we have a story right here that who is the champion. I disagree with that because now you're telling your fan bases that we got two women's champions on the same show. You don't need an interim champion. Have a tournament, crown a new champion, and keep it moving.
Yeah.
I get tired of a lot of these wrestling promotions where they want to crown an interim champion, but you don't put no effort and thought into it. You just, you know what, we're gonna take 5 women or 10 women. We're gonna have a single match, and then the winner will move on and be part of a ladder match instead of just having a tournament.
The interim thing has always been stupid. Like even in the UFC, I've thought it's a stupid thing. If somebody's hurt, strip them of the title. You're not there to defend it. I know you got hurt. It sucks. It is what it is. Guess what? You'll be first in line when you get healthy again. Because what are they going to do? Let's say Tiffany Stratton wins. Tiffany Stratton's your women's champion. As soon as Rhea Ripley comes back, Rhea's going to say, you're not the real champion. You never beat me. Blah, 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 blah. That's your storyline. It's super predictable. It's like it's almost setting yourself up to the point that the story is automatically there. So why does she have to be the interim champion? Just call her the champion.
Yeah.
And you can do the same thing whether there's a second belt or not.
Not only that, but is Tiffany Stratton the United States champion?
Mm-hmm.
So why is she even involved in this match? Oh, because she's back home. It'll be in Minnesota.
Well, that and she's still one of their top 4 most popular women in the company.
Yeah, and I get it. But my whole thing is, I call this backstage politics because they look at their champion. For example, Rhea Ripley. The WWE is in the Rhea Ripley business. Rhea Ripley sells a lot of merch. She's very popular with young girls. She is the dream of all dreams for all those young, horny teenagers. She is. And some grown men.
All you goth girls, you got a chance in Rhea Ripley. She's showing you what you can aspire to.
Right. And I understand Rhea Ripley is one of their top wrestlers, but that doesn't mean that because she's going to be out for a certain period of time that she can continue to stay champion. Another prime example, they have another champion on Raw who is a glorified manager and has not defended her title. Why? Because there ain't no one lady to come back. It's kind of like you telling me only one woman makes sense for this story?
The both shows have a one problem that is just 180-degree reversal of each other. You're waiting on a champion for her challenger to come back. The other one, you don't have a champion because she's injured.
Yeah. Like, it's not just WWE. I've seen this. I've seen this on AEW where who was it? Sammy Guevara was the interim TNT champion because the champion at that time was injured. He was out. I'm like, what are we doing? I think it was Cody Rhodes. I'm like, what are we doing here? And then we see matches over who was it? The interim AEW Women's Champion because the champion was hurt. We had an interim. I mean, what are we doing here? Why are you confusing your fan base with these interim champions? Stop.
It's one thing, like even in UFC, it's legit fighting, blah, blah, blah. It's a sport, even though, it's scripted now because it's betted on. But like in pro boxing, when you had interim champions, it's because they had contracts where the title had to be defended, blah, 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 blah. So that's why interim things were created where you had an interim champion if there was an injury. This is pro wrestling. It's scripted. You don't need to have interim champions. Hey, Rhea, you have Aldis come out there. Rhea, the WWE Universe loves you. We can't wait for you to come back. Unfortunately, we have to have our women's title. It's one of our most prestigious titles that has to be defended. We have to strip you of the title, but you will be first in line when you come back. and now we're going to have a tournament, or we've deemed these as the 2 number 1 contenders. They're going to have a match, and then we're going to have a new champion from there moving forward. Done.
Yeah.
The whole interim thing makes no sense whatsoever.
Back, and again, I hate going back in the day. I hate talking about the past. Vince McMahon was good at this, where if you're going to be out for a certain amount of time, thank you, but you're not going to be champion anymore.
Triple H killed that. They made it like known that Triple H abolished the 30-day rule, because that was kind of just a standard across wrestling companies, is that you had 30 days. If the belt wasn't defended in 30 days, you got stripped of the title. And sometimes they would use that for storyline purposes, but it still works.
I think the last one I seen, I think it was Dominic Mysterio, where he got injured and he didn't defend the Triple H championship. He did not defend the Intercontinental Championship.
Right.
Basically, what I'm saying is that when you make decisions like this, you're hurting your own product. You're hurting your own talent.
The last real world scenario that I can recall this happening was Brock Lesnar, when Dana White forced Brock Lesnar to defend the heavyweight title against Cain Velasquez.
Yes,
and then he got destroyed by Cain because he had a super short training camp, and he had just come back from that. The dude had like an inch or 1 to 3 inches of his intestine removed from diverticulitis and all that stuff. Like, the dude wasn't ready to fight at all. And Dana, I'm going to strip you of the title if you don't come back and defend it. So the dude had like a 3-week training camp to go fight Cain Velasquez, who was in his prime at the time. And yeah, he got dominated.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's the last real sport that I've seen it happen. In pro wrestling wise, yeah, there was the Dom thing. AEW had something.
No, AEW had again, it was Sammy Guevara.
They had another one besides Sammy. I'm trying to.
I think Jericho? It was Sheeta on the women's side. Because I think it was Britt Baker was hurt, but I think it was Sheeta. They had one before them. No. I'm sorry. It was Tony Storm was the interim champion.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Tony Storm was the interim champion. Yeah. This again, it doesn't make sense. You don't need to have interim champions. Just crown a new champion, have a tournament, and elevate someone. I mean, when I hear that, who was it? JC Jane. Well, yeah. So when I heard that Tiffany Stratton, who I have nothing against, I think Tiffany is tremendous. But Tiffany didn't need to win that match. JC Jane needed to win that match. You called her up 3 months ago. You want to make her a credible heel. You want to build her up. And when she came to the main roster, she targeted Rhea Ripley.
The problem is they're looking for home runs. Again, you brought CM Punk back and gave him the title because you're in desperation mode. This isn't, hey, we're trying some things out, we're building characters. This is full on desperation mode. They're only putting in home runs in there. So yeah, while JC Jane could have used the push, used this, hell, have her win the whole thing. They're going to put in their bona fide stars. Tiffany Stratton is still top 5 in merch in the whole company. You've got 2 women that dominate in merch sales, in Tiffany and Rhea. They're both top 5. And so they're going to put Tiffany in that match 100% of the time right now because of the situation that they're in.
Yeah. Throughout the history of wrestling in the golden era, we didn't have interim champions. Now we have interim champions. And look, the WWE and AEW has to understand that because they doing these interim champions, other wrestling promotions are going to follow suit. Now, I don't know with MLW. I don't think they do that. I don't think GCW does that. I don't know. Do the ICP wrestling company does interim champions? No. Okay,
well, they've built one into a storyline. They don't technically do it, but they're kind of doing a storyline with it right now with their former champ because he was out hurt for so long where he was the champ. But they vacated that title. Like they did a whole thing, vacated the title, but now they're turning it into a story with Big Vito. It's actually pretty interesting.
Okay. Now, it's just these major promotions, when they start doing these interim champions, to me, it's lazy booking because, again, The champion comes back. The champion's healthy, and like you said, you're not the champion. I'm the champion. Let's have a match. Let's see who's the true champion.
Mm-hmm.
It's lazy booking, and it needs to stop. You just need one champion. If the champion's hurt, strip the title, vacate. When they come back, they'll be the number one contender. Hey, we know you was hurt. We're gonna make you number one contender when you get healthy for your title. That's it. Have a tournament, elevate someone. Because again, it's wrestling fans at a certain point gonna get fatigued of seeing the same wrestlers over and over and over and over and over again fight for the title.
Let's use one of your best wrestlers.
This could have been an opportunity where you could have this ladder match. You could have introduced the people to Julia Moore. You could have, hey, we got another woman wrestler we paying a lot of money to. Let's bring back Joan Grace. She's somewhere back there. I don't know who she pissed off.
I don't think they know that she still works there.
Jesus Christ. Y'all chased this woman for 3 years and you finally get her. And now she's not even catering. She's sitting at home.
She's there so that another company doesn't have her.
Jesus. But what I'm saying is they have an opportunity to create superstars. If you just want to have a normal contender match between Jade, Cargill, and Charlotte Flair, I'll be cool with that as well. I'm fine with that. Because these two are the two women right now that's having a good storyline, and they're battling each other all the time. If you want to make the former champion, two former champions go at it for the title, I'm fine with that. Those two, it would make sense. But in this ladder match, I would love to see a Julia. I would love to see a Kiana James. I would love to see a Jordan Grace. Hell, Blake Monroe is the future of the women's division, and she's been onto the main roster like for 4 months, and all she's doing is backstage attacks. This is supposed to be your face. This is supposed to be the woman who's going to lead a new era of the women's division. Nothing.
Yep.
So all I'm saying is, if we're gonna do this route, have those women that are at a match and let them be introduced to the WWE universe, because maybe we might like one of them. Me and Jamie are huge fans of all of them because we've seen them wrestle, we've seen their work. But there's a lot of fans in the WWE universe who hasn't seen them.
What happened when Finn Bálor got stripped of the title?
He went back in the line. He didn't get a rematch.
Exactly. And that was one day. He's the one that said, I'm hurt. Yeah. And they didn't wait to strip him. Now you got guys sitting for 100 days without defending the title, to the point you forget certain people have titles. Like when the Judgment Day had the tag team titles, they didn't defend them for like 4 months.
Yeah, until the people started complaining.
Yeah, I mean, Liv Morgan. You didn't have Liv Morgan doing anything. And then it's like people started complaining, oh, well, we better put her in Queen of the Ring. For what point? There was no point in putting Liv Morgan in Queen of the Ring. It served no purpose. You could have had Io Sky beat whoever else that they wanted to in that tournament and still gotten to the same exact point that they're at right now between Io Sky and Liv Morgan. Queen of the Ring did nothing for that.
No, it didn't. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show for today. Our next show will be a week from today. I'm going out of town. We'll be back. And when we come back, Jamie has a whole list of reasons why. And we're going to talk about those reasons why. He's a big fan of Julia, Io, Michin. That's going to be the whole entire show. So I hope everybody tune in and listen. And it's going to be a great show, because that's going to be that day where I'm going to sit back. I'm going to kick back. I'm going to crack open an ice cold beverage, and I'm going to listen. Even I'm going to throw some softballs, but I'm going to listen. So That's gonna be our
Okay.
next show. Jamie versus the women of Japan. So make sure y'all tune in and watch. And you guys have a good weekend. We'll see you guys in a week. Peace.
Later.